I forced my son to share his Christmas PS5 with my 6 stepkids, but he refused, so I took everything from his room for them, and now my whole family hates me. I remarried last year. My wife Keisha has 6 kids. Yeah, I know that sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but I knew what I was signing up for. I grew up in a house that you couldn't even walk through because my parents hoarded everything. Actual stacked newspapers, broken appliances, boxes of crap nobody touched for years. It was disgusting. I always told myself I was going to give my kid the opposite. A real family, a structured home, holidays that looked like the families I always envied when I was a kid and had to pretend I didn't see the way other kids looked at me. My son, Kevin, is 14. He's always been intense, very particular about his stuff, very sensitive, very quiet. Honestly, he's a good kid in a lot of ways, but he gets stuck in his own world. He'll spend hours arranging his room a certain way or lining up his books by color. If anything even looks touched, he freaks out. His mom coddled that behavior for years, so now whenever I try to push him to be more flexible, suddenly I'm controlling. I'm just trying to parent a kid who shuts down if one of his routines changes by 2 minutes. Anyway, Christmas. I wanted to make it special because it was our first Christmas as a blended family. I didn't really get big Christmases growing up, so this stuff matters to me. I worked extra shifts to be able to go all out. I bought decorations, matching pajamas, everything. I wanted it to feel normal, like the kind of Christmas I used to imagine. I got Kevin a PS5. Yes, I know it's expensive, but I've been trying to connect with him, and I thought maybe this could be one of those olive branch type moments. And yeah, I also thought it would naturally lead to the kids bonding because they'd play games together. I wasn't trying to hide that. I just didn't think it'd be a massive issue. It immediately became one. Kevin opened it and didn't even smile. He barely said thank you. He sort of nodded and kept the box on his lap like he thought someone was going to snatch it out of his hands. The stepkids were excited, obviously, because it was a big gift and they never really get stuff like that. They each got their own presents too. I didn't cheap out on them, but a PS5 is a PS5. Keisha gave me this look like, "Did you tell him the plan?" And I realized, okay, maybe I should have explained that this was something the whole family could use. So I told him, calmly, literally just said I wanted him to share it and we'd set it up in the living room so everyone could play. I wasn't asking him to give away a kidney. He flat out said no. He didn't say, "I'd rather not," or "maybe later." He said no, like I'd asked him to burn his room down. He hugged the box and said he wasn't sharing with a bunch of people who break everything. His words. I admit I lost my patience, but imagine spending hundreds of dollars on something, working overtime, picturing all your kids playing together on Christmas morning, only to have your oldest dig his heels in because he doesn't like the idea of kids touching his stuff. It pissed me off. I told him he was being selfish. He said I bought it for myself then. He said if I expected him to share, then I shouldn't have bothered getting it. I told him fine, if he was going to act like that, I'd give it to someone who appreciated it. And yeah, I took it. I took it because I'm the parent, and I can take something when it's causing a massive meltdown on Christmas morning. The stepkids were standing there confused and awkward. Keisha kept trying to smooth things over, but Kevin just kept spiraling and saying everyone was out to get him and I was ruining his life and whatever else. So I went to his room to calm down and think, and then I realized something. Every single thing in that room was something he treated like a museum exhibit. Off limits, perfectly arranged, no one could touch anything, not even me. And it hit me how unfair that dynamic had become. My house had turned into a place where 6 kids had to tiptoe around him because one teenager acted like everything he owned was sacred. So yeah, I took his stuff out. I took the headphones he never lets anyone borrow. I took the sketchbooks he keeps hidden because he thinks the other kids will ruin them. They wouldn't I know them better than he does. I took the blanket that's basically his security item at this point. I took the little shelves of books he treats like relics. I put everything in the living room and said the house belonged to all of us, not just him. Did the kids get excited and touch things? Sure, they're kids. Did anything break? Not at that point, no. Was Kevin's reaction over the top? Absolutely. He left the house, literally walked out and didn't say where he was going. It was cold, it was Christmas morning, and he just disappeared. I figured he'd cool off and come back. Instead, he went to my sister's place and apparently told her this insane story about how I emptied his room to punish him. She calls me freaking out, saying I humiliated my own son and how I need help. Now everyone's against me, so I don't know. Eita? Update 1. Right after I posted, everything just spiraled. Kevin still wasn't home. He stayed at my sister's the whole night and the next morning. He didn't respond to my texts. He didn't pick up when I called. My sister was answering him for him, which already annoyed me because she acts like I'm some abusive monster when all I did was take back a gift he refused to share. She sent me a long message about keeping him in a stable environment until I reflect. Like he's a toddler and I'm some danger. He's 14. He's not fragile. He's dramatic, sure. But fragile? No. I told her I was coming to get him because he can't just run off after I discipline him and then hide behind her house like that. And she told me not to show up unless I planned to speak calmly, which is funny because she's the one who screamed at me over the phone the day before. But fine. I drove over there. Honestly, the whole time, I was thinking Kevin was probably just scared I'd be disappointed and he would snap out of it once he saw I wasn't ruining his life. I didn't expect anything crazy. I get to her house and she basically blocks the doorway like I'm some criminal. Kevin was sitting on her couch pulled in on himself. He had my hoodie on, the one he usually keeps in his room like some museum piece, and he looked like someone had died. I tried to explain that this whole thing got blown way out of proportion. I said the room thing was temporary, and I didn't even do it because I was angry at him. I did it because we're a family now, and I can't have 7 kids under one roof all playing by different rules. I thought he'd stand up, come to the door, get in the car, and we'd figure this out. Instead, he refused to look at me. My sister kept hovering like she thought I'd snatch him and run, and Kevin kept shaking his head like I was asking him to go back into a burning building instead of his own bedroom. Anyway, I asked Kevin why he told her I took everything for the stepkids, because I didn't take everything for them. Some stuff, yeah, but a lot of the stuff was just set aside until he could calm down. But he wouldn't answer me. He just stared at his hands and his face was red and he kept doing that thing where he tries not to cry but ends up making it worse. Then my sister brought up stuff I didn't even know about. She said Kevin had been buying things with his lunch money for months, like his headphones, his books, even a stupid little lamp I didn't think twice about when I saw it arrive from an online order. She said he was doing it because he didn't want to bother me by asking for anything, which didn't make any sense to me because I've always bought him things when he needed them. I don't understand why he'd start hiding purchases unless he was being dramatic. Then she said something that really pissed me off. She said Kevin told her I give him chores when he upsets me and that sometimes they take hours. I don't know why that's a big deal. Chores aren't punishment, they're responsibility, but she said I weaponize labor, which is the kind of phrase people use when they've spent too much time on parenting blogs. She said Kevin gets anxious because he never knows what version of Christmas or birthdays or weekends he's going to get, the strict version or the relaxed version. And because my parents barely disciplined me, I've apparently overcorrected. Again, complete stretch. But the worst part? She said he's afraid of disappointing me. She said he thinks if he messes up once, I'll turn the whole house against him. That is crazy to me. I've always been there for him. I've taken him to every appointment. I've supported his hobbies even though half the time he hides them like he's ashamed of them. And yes, when his mom and I divorced, I probably leaned too hard on being the parent who could provide structure because she was always too soft. But afraid? Come on. If anything, he gets away with more than he should. Anyway, after she dumps all that on me, she says she and Kevin's mom already filed something for temporary emergency custody. I thought she was bluffing. She wasn't. His mom actually went to court over this. She claims I removed all of his personal property to force compliance. It sounds dramatic because it is, but the courts don't care about nuance and my sister knows exactly how to phrase things to make me sound like a psychopath. Then the kicker. Keisha hasn't defended me at all since this. She told me earlier she backed me up because she didn't want the kids thinking I favor Kevin. But after Kevin left, she switched gears completely. She told my sister she didn't know I'd take it that far, and now suddenly she's stepping back like she had no part in any of it. Which isn't true. She was the one who kept bringing up fairness and equality and treating everyone the same. Now she's acting like she never pushed anything. That's the update. I'll post again if anything changes, but right now everything is just getting worse. Update 2. When I came home after that disaster at my sister's place, the house looked like a daycare center exploded. The stepkids were running around doing whatever they wanted. Keisha was in the bathroom with the door locked, not because she was showering or sick, but because she just wanted 5 minutes of peace. Except she'd clearly been in there long enough for the younger kids to get bored enough to destroy shit. There were markers all over the hallway wall, like someone tried to draw a mural but gave up halfway. 2 of the boys had dragged blankets and snacks into the living room and turned it into some fort, except the snacks were smashed into the couch cushions. The girls had taken the clean laundry basket and dumped everything all over the floor because they wanted to play dress up. They're not toddlers, they're old enough to know better. I just stood there, looking at all of it, trying to understand how things got so out of hand so fast. These kids always acted wild, but there was usually some limit. Now it was like they knew there was nothing stopping them. And the part that made my stomach drop was realizing how quickly it got like this without Kevin around. I used to think he was the difficult one, the rigid one, the one making the house tense. But with him gone, the house didn't get calmer, it got feral. I went to check on the stuff I took from Kevin, mostly because I felt guilty that my sister drilled into me how awful it was to strip his room. I wasn't planning on giving anything back yet, but I figured I'd at least see if Keisha kept it stored somewhere safe. Instead, I found that the Stepkids had already torn through all of it. The PS5 was basically dead. The cord was bent like someone yanked it too hard. One of the boys damaged the controller by throwing it at the wall. The box was ripped open and thrown somewhere in the playroom. His sketchbooks, the ones he spent hours working in, were on the floor with pages missing. Some had marker scribbles all over them. His noise-canceling headphones were broken in half. Even his weighted blanket was filthy because the kids dragged it outside and used it like a picnic mat. I felt awful. I tried asking Keisha why she didn't keep the stuff put away until I figured out a new plan, but she just shrugged and said the kids saw it and assumed it was for them. They didn't think they were doing anything wrong. She said she thought I'd be fine with it because I kept saying I wanted everyone to feel equal. That pissed me off. Equal doesn't mean tearing up something that wasn't bought for you. But apparently in her house, boundaries don't exist unless she's yelling. But the worst part that knocked the wind out of me was hearing her on the phone later that night. She was talking to someone she obviously trusted. I didn't catch the whole conversation because I wasn't eavesdropping at first, but I heard my name. And the way she talked about me was so dismissive, it felt like someone poured cold water on me. She said I'd cave like always, and that I just want to be the hero. She said I'm so desperate to be liked that I'd bend over backward for anyone who gives me a little praise. She said the situation with Kevin would blow over because I never stick to boundaries anyway. And she said it so casually, like she wasn't talking about her husband, just some guy she puts up with. The anger that hit me wasn't normal anger. It was like embarrassment, betrayal, and shock mixed together. I didn't even care that she was wrong about some things. It was the fact that she thought that about me at all. And once that connection snapped in my head, the resentment hit full force. I saw her kids tearing up the hallway. I saw the ripped sketchbooks. I saw the broken PS5. And all of a sudden, I wasn't thinking about discipline or fairness. I was thinking about money, time, space, attention. I was thinking about everything I've done for these kids since the wedding rides, dinners, school fees, birthday stuff. Replacing broken furniture, fixing messes, trying to build some kind of routine, and how none of it mattered because she clearly didn't see me as anything but a wallet with a temper. When I called her out about the mess, she snapped at me and said I need to stop talking to the kids like they're soldiers. She threw it in my face that Kevin never shares and that I've been playing favorites for months. Which is rich because she's the one who drilled into her kids that I treat Kevin better. Now she's saying I'm a bully to her kids. The same kids who destroyed Kevin's things and acted like I was insane for caring. Update 3. My sister dropped Kevin off and didn't even bother coming to the door. She sat in the car like I was contagious. Kevin walked in like he was expecting to see a war zone, and when he saw the state of his stuff, the destroyed PS5, the ripped sketchbooks, the headphones snapped in half, the blanket still covered in dirt from being dragged outside, he didn't yell or argue. He didn't even look at me. He just stood there, staring at everything, and his face went blank in a way I had never seen before. And he cried, but not loud crying. He was angry crying. I don't think I've ever felt that level of discomfort in my own home. It wasn't guilt, not fully. It was more like everything hit me at once. How bad it looked, how fast everything fell apart when he left, how the Stepkids ran wild like they'd been waiting for the exact moment he wasn't around to keep the house stable. How Keisha didn't bother protecting anything because she didn't think any of it mattered. But even then, the first thing I felt wasn't poor kid. It was anger at Keisha for letting it get this bad. It was embarrassment that this was the house Kevin was seeing after everyone already decided I was some controlling lunatic. It was irritation that he was crying at all because I knew how it would look to my sister, to my ex, to Reddit like I made him some victim, like I ripped things away for no reason. I tried to explain the mess before he said anything, but he didn't even respond. He just kept gathering what he could salvage. Half the stuff wasn't even worth taking, but he stuffed it into the bag anyway. Like he didn't want to leave anything behind for us to destroy. That hurt more than I expected. Not because he was wrong, but because he thought that way at all. The oldest stepkid came into the hallway while Kevin was packing. He looked uncomfortable, and I figured he was going to complain about something or ask if they were still allowed to keep some of Kevin's stuff. But instead, he said something that flipped the entire situation upside down in my head. He said that his mom told them they had to take Kevin's things because she was scared I'd stop helping pay for the house if the kids didn't get treated the same as him. He said she kept saying I cared more about looking like a good dad than actually being one, and that if they didn't grab the stuff fast, I'd end up spending money on Kevin again and leave them out. He said they were told I'd get mad if they didn't act excited about the gifts. He said all of this like it was normal, like this was some routine, like Keisha had been coaching them for a while. I just stood there processing it. Suddenly the whole Christmas mess wasn't just Kevin refuses to share. It wasn't just me trying to push everyone into getting along. It wasn't even about the PS5 anymore. It was about Keisha managing her own panic by dangling me like some ATM that would shut off if the kids didn't get enough attention. And she played it off like she was just trying to blend the family, like she was being fair, like she wanted peace. I confronted her in the kitchen while Kevin was still packing, and it turned into something I wasn't prepared for. She didn't even deny it. She admitted she didn't think I'd keep showing up for her kids unless things looked equal all the time. She said she felt like she had to control the situation, or I'd eventually get tired of supporting a family that wasn't originally mine. She said I acted like I wanted this big blended family image, but only if Kevin was front and center. It spiraled from there. She said Kevin was scared of me. She said he walked on eggshells because I made everything about respect and attitude and tone. She said the kids resent me. Then she said the part that set off the entire explosion. She said she never actually wanted the family blended in the emotional sense. She wanted stability. She wanted help. She wanted someone who had their life together. She didn't deny that she pushed this equal treatment thing because she didn't want me to start questioning why I was paying for so much. I'm not proud of the fight that came after. I'm not proud of how loud I got. I'm not proud that the kids started crying and hiding because neither of us could get a grip. She accused me of being dangerous. I accused her of using me. She threatened to call someone to report me. I threatened to evict them since the lease was in my name. Everything was chaos. At some point, the oldest stepkid called his dad. I didn't even know the guy bothered being in their lives. He showed up like he was ready to start swinging. He kept yelling that he'd take care of this if Keisha wanted him to. I'm not a fighter. I wasn't trying to get physical with anyone, especially not in front of kids, but it turned into this tense standoff until Keisha's sister came to pull him away. While all of that was happening, Kevin slipped out of the house. I didn't even notice until half the house emptied out and my sister's car pulled up again. She walked right past me like I didn't exist, found him sitting on the curb down the street, and guided him into the car. She didn't look angry. She looked disgusted, and that was somehow worse. And that was it. The last moment my whole house was intact. Final update. The first real punch was the emergency custody hearing. My ex came in loaded with pictures, statements, and whatever else she collected while Kevin stayed with her and my sister. I thought the court would see that this was just a parenting disagreement, but the judge barely even looked at me. The whole thing lasted maybe 15 minutes before I got told Kevin wouldn't be coming back for now. I walked out of there feeling like I'd been shoved out of my own life. It didn't matter what I said or how I tried to explain the Christmas thing, they had already decided I was the problem. The next couple of days were a blur of paperwork, phone calls, messages from people I barely talked to suddenly wanting to check on Kevin, like I'm some threat. Keisha kept crying, saying she didn't sign up for this drama and that her kids were scared of me after the blow-up at the house. Her ex sent me a nasty text through some legal people saying I wasn't allowed around his kids unless it was supervised. It felt insane. Then the credit card thing hit. I got an alert from my bank about a balance I didn't recognize. I thought it was fraud from some random scammer until I called and found out Keisha had opened the card with my information weeks ago. $12,000, mostly toys, electronics, clothes, and a bunch of Christmas crap I didn't even know she bought. She told them it was a joint account. The card had my name on it. I didn't even know she had access to my SSN. When I confronted her about it, she acted like it wasn't a huge deal and said, I promised to provide equally. I never promised anything like that. She just assumed that because I pay most of the bills, I'd take this on too. I didn't even argue. I just filed it as fraud. She can deal with the consequences of that. She hasn't talked to me since, except through her sister, who told me I should let it go for the kids' sake. The same kids she keeps claiming I traumatized. I'm done with all of them. Kevin has asked to stay with his mom permanently, and the court agreed. I get supervised visitation for 6 months. I never thought I'd be the kind of parent who needed someone else in the room to make sure things stayed calm, but apparently that's where we landed. Keisha moved out to stay with her sister after the fraud thing. Her kids won't come near me. I'm not posting again after this. There's nothing left to update. The marriage is done, which I'm honestly happy about now.